Power and blessings. Um, I want to dedicate this video to Kali Ma, which is a goddess of time, goddess of um, death, transformation, goddess of cycles, goddess of destruction, goddess of dissolution of the ego, goddess of karma, you could say, but really karmic endings, um, associated with protection, maternity, chaos. She's a warrior goddess, but she's also a nurturer. And she's associated with like the most wild, chaotic, but at the destructive, but at the same time pure, powerful, and untamed feminine, right? So dedicating this to her. So this video is going to be called accountability / shifting timelines, right? So, especially as a man, right? One of the most powerful things you can do is take accountability. Excuse me. In this time, everyone is casting blame and judgment onto everyone else. Everyone is like, oh, he did that, she did that, he didn't do this, she didn't do this. Like, he's supposed to do that, she's supposed to do that. Why is she not doing that? Why is he not doing that? And it's very little accountability. It's very little people being like, all right, I was supposed to do that, or I should have done that, or I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have been there. I shouldn't have talked to him or her. I shouldn't have tolerated that. I shouldn't have entertained that. It's always the victim or the other side where it's like, man, I'm too good for this, or like, man, I'm the best this and I'm the best that, and nobody could tell me nothing about this, and and it's like, I don't see the balance, bro. I don't see the people who are like, the thing with spirituality, bro, you're not supposed to be a fucking narcissist. Like, you're not supposed to act like you above anybody else. Like, you're supposed to realize your role and realize the importance of your role. And that's like what people are missing, the importance of your role. Meaning that your role is not something that, like, you should view as, oh, I'm special and I deserve special treatment because I was given this role. Everybody has a role in this existence, right? So you should take pride, honor, and humility in your role. Like, thing is, like, there's something that I realized a while ago that I haven't really said, but I want to say, right? When you talk about royalty and being royal or being a king or queen or god or goddess, it comes with responsibility. Like, royalty is synonymous with responsibility. So when you consider yourself elevated, it's responsibility that comes with that. It's not like royalty aren't people who have people serve them. That's the idea of royalty that we've been fed. Real royalty is people who serve others because they've poured into themselves so much and deified and worshipped and uplifted themselves so much that now they have an overflow and they're obligated to give to others because that's the position that they choose. So that's royalty. So the thing about royalty is, it's two sides to it, because one side of it is that you're chosen and the other side of it is that you choose yourself. And this is why a lot of times they talk about, like, the children of, like, the king or queen. Sometimes they don't inherit the throne, they pass it to somebody else because they're not worthy, like they're not ready to take it on. Or sometimes a person who's not even from the family who's currently in line will take the throne because they feel that they're worthy. They choose themselves, right? So both of these aspects are important. But speaking about accountability, bro, like there's levels to spirituality and levels to existence and levels to like unraveling your karma, clearing your karma, and transcending your karma, right? But there's a level when you talk about healing, we're getting closer to the end. Healing is a cycle though, but I mean closer to the end as in transcending your ego, right? And not necessarily transcending it like you're leaving behind, but more like integrating it to a point where it's not causing issues anymore. Now you're using it to help you, right? You're using it to benefit you. When you stop being a victim, and that's like a hard process. That is a super hard process, especially in this society where we've been indoctrinated and trained to give up our power and act like the victim and always want to blame somebody, always want to blame a higher institution or a authority figure or a system or whatever. And not to say that that blame isn't justified, but when you realize like who you are, and not only do you realize that, you start to embody it and work on it and refine it, like you can't blame anybody anymore for anything at all. And that's the idea of like accountability, because like I said, especially as a man, and a man who considers himself a divine masculine and wants to embody himself in that role and refine himself in that role, I can't blame anybody for anything. Like everything that I want, I have to go get it or I have to attract it to me. And that goes for my whole life. So it's a different level because now it's like you start integrating your dark side and your light side so that you can take accountability for what you haven't done. And now that you've taken accountability for what you haven't done or what you failed to do or what you've done wrong, now you can go back and clear that. You can rectify that, right? And this is the process of redemption, which is one of the main lessons on earth is redemption from your sins. And when people talk about prayer and worship, when you ask for forgiveness or like mercy or compassion, all that, in order to complete that process, you ask for it, right? And the other side of it is you go and obtain it. You go and actually make that happen. So this goes for anything that you want. When you're praying, when you're manifesting, there's one side which is visualizing and hoping and putting the intention out and like lending, charging the intention, charging it. The other side is like, okay, now I have to go out into the world and actually like, or grow into myself and actually create this. So now that I've received this that I've asked for already in like the metaphysical realm, now I got to go into the physical realm and actually embody this energy to show that, okay, I have the ability to materialize this in the physical realm and be able to maintain it. And you'll go through many tests, you'll go through many like cycles over and over again, but eventually you get to a certain understanding of, okay, I am the one who's creating everything. And once I'm realize I'm creating everything, I have to realize what I'm allowing my power to go to that isn't creating what I want. And that's when I have healing, shadow work. We're like going to the shadows and realizing, okay, all of this is not creating what I want. And then the other side of it is light work, where it's like, okay, so now let me create what I want. And it's that's the cycle, right? Um so when you want to shift timelines, you have to embody a new version of yourself before you're physically that version of yourself. And this is the idea of manifesting, of positive thoughts, of affirmations, all of this. Because like the more that you say that, the more that you affirm it, the more that you think it, it's like you're preparing yourself and you're like programming yourself, right? But then you also have to embody it so that you can actually hold the frequency in your physical body. Because it's different to think about something or to feel something. I know they say there's no difference. The subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between like thinking of something or feeling something and actually like doing it. But your conscious mind does. So it's like you could think about something and you could visualize something and feel something and manifest something. But when you actually want like that in your reality, like there's certain actions physically that you got to do with your body in order to like get yourself in alignment with the timeline that you're actually trying to be on. So it's like, and it's something I'm realizing as I'm on my own journey right now. So kind of toward the start of my journey, it's like, you're like, okay, you start realizing, okay, I could do anything. And you start manifesting things. And you like, you've never manifested anything before, at least consciously, because we're always manifesting. But you've never consciously manifested things before. So the more you start manifesting, like, you start becoming amazed with your ability. You're like, oh my God, I can manifest this, I can manifest that, I can manifest anything. And then you're like, okay, fuck it, I can manifest anything. And you start to exercise that, right? The thing is, when you start to realize you can manifest everything, like I said, you got to watch what you're manifesting. That's one side of it. The other side of it is you got to keep track of the magnitude of your manifestations and what that means. So it's like, when I started my journey, I said I want to be a millionaire or a billionaire, or a millionaire, right? And I told my mom, I'm like, all right, by 21, I'm going to be a millionaire. This is when I was like 18, right? And it's funny because I believed it, but I didn't have the full knowledge of who I was or who I was supposed to be or who I'm becoming at that time. I just, like, that intention was based off of a fallacy, was based off a lie, was based off of somebody that I'm not, like, who I thought I was or who I thought I was trying to be, and I didn't have the full understanding of what that meant, right? So now as I come into a fuller and more complete understanding of myself, it's like, if I really want to be a millionaire, yes, there's thinking it and visualizing it and doing this and creating these habits, but there's also in the physical world, how do I actually do this? All right, so let me be around these people intentionally. Let me put out these type of videos, or let me put out this type of music, or let me associate with this person, or let me do business with this person, or let me, like, what physical, practical steps I got to take to do this, right? And this is, like, created by how much you've went in that direction. So when you talk about karma and accountability, the less accountability you have, the more karma you have. And karma is like work, lessons, it's time, really, associated with Saturn. And like, it's like lag basically, but it's lag that's necessary in order to get you like aligned, right? The more accountability you take, the less karma you have, meaning it's easier for you to obtain something because you have a fuller understanding of what it takes to actually obtain that and what it means. So it's like, even when you say I want to become a millionaire, there's a certain amount of karma that comes with that. And this karma like manifests as lessons, as wisdom, as experiences, to where now it's like you are a millionaire, as opposed to somebody who wants to be a millionaire. Once you actually are a millionaire, now you're like, okay, I could see what it took to go from this point to this point. I could see the shift, and I could see why I wasn't that at this time and why I am this now. And this is like the point of life, because it's like there's a reason why certain people are in one position and other people are in another position. There's an actual reason for this. And a lot of people say like, oh, the government is doing this, the government is doing that, or systematic this, and that plays a part. But the truth is actually that people have been caught in a certain timeline or cycle because that's all the responsibility that they had at that time. And this is related to spiritual maturity, where spiritual children, they are very immature, like they don't take any accountability, and they low-key don't even have the ability to, because they haven't went through enough karma to even realize why it's important to do that. But spiritual adults, meaning older souls that have more incarnations, souls that like have more familiarity with who they are in this existence, is like they are more mature, meaning like they are more accountable for their actions, and they are more like responsible with what they do and what they don't do, because they understand how it affects the bigger ecosystem, the bigger cycle, right? So my point is that, like, as I've been taking more accountability and realizing like my mistakes, realizing even why I made the mistakes and how those mistakes affected everything, now it's like, okay, now I know what to do, and now I know how to get aligned to where I want to get to. But yeah, power and blessings.